After 3 years being in my studio apartment in 400 square feet, I actually need a bigger place. I do want to have a separate bedroom. I cook so much that a bigger kitchen will be incredibly helpful to me, and it will be a great place for me to film more videos. I'm very excited, but now I need to pack. And luckily, I'm a professional organizer, so this should be easy, right? One of the key things about moving is to start planning for the move the second you know you're going to move. There's a lot of pre-activities that you can do to make the actual packing activity a lot easier. I'm moving in 48 hours, and I have only packed like most of one box. And that's because I'm focusing my attention on all of the preemptive activities so that my little studio apartment isn't in complete disarray for a week as I'm packing. Instead, I'm doing small things, shifting things, making decisions, giving things away, etc., so that now I can just full on be focused on the packing process. So one of the things in the pre-packing zone is accumulating some boxes and thinking about what you're gonna pack with. A great idea is not to buy boxes. You can either rent reusable containers or do what I did. My local neighborhood group, there's an app called Nextdoor. You might have a Facebook group that's similar to this. Post about getting boxes. Now, these are all flat. So one of the things I'm doing right now is putting the boxes together, taping them back up, and using a marker, I'm scratching out any of their notes that were on the box. So that all of these boxes will be ready to go. But most importantly, so I can really see how many boxes do I have, what shape are they, and I'm starting to think about what types of objects go in which boxes, because I don't want any to be too heavy, I don't want any of them to be too light, I don't want them to have empty space in them, so how can I maximize? The other thing I've done is made myself a packing pile, and I started this like a week ago. It has things like painter's tape. I find painter's tape to be incredibly useful in pretty much any organizing activity you do, and this is paper tape, which is more eco-friendly. And then I also went ahead and I grabbed like all of the tote bags and other types of bags that I have available because these will be useful when packing and bringing some of the fragile things. I also happen to have a label maker. I know that might seem obvious to you, but it took me a while in my career to buy one. Since I have one, I have it out and available. I might not even use it, but it is a really good idea to label your boxes as precisely as possible if you have a lot of stuff. For me, since I don't have a lot, I can just label bath, kitchen, books, office, bedroom, things like that that are more general. But if you have a lot of stuff, it might be helpful to have some lists on the box that denote some major things in them that you might want to find. Another thing I got is packing paper. And I know what you're saying, Dara, I thought you were an environmentalist. What are you doing going out buying packing paper? Let me explain. For one, packing paper is way better than bubble wrap or anything using plastic. So right off the back, except for the plastic film around the packing paper here, unfortunately. But right off the bat, that's better than using any type of plastic. One thing I see folks doing is collecting random newspapers, magazine inserts, a random bubble wrap from here and there. And it kind of creates more disarray. And then they're constantly thinking about like, oh, I need more of this, I need more of that. And I think it just adds to stress. And quite frankly, I don't like to use newspaper when I wrap things because newspaper has ink on it. And it does smudge, and it does mean that a lot of the things that you've wrapped using it then need to be clean immediately. My goal is to minimize the environmental impact. I'm reusing boxes, I'm using paper, and at least it is unbleached paper, and then I will recycle it afterwards. Also, plastic packing tape, unfortunately, really is the best option. I haven't found something better than this. Like I said, I do have some paper tape, which I'll use when I can, but to make these boxes really sturdy, I do need plastic packing tape. But as you can see, I'm focused on prep. I was collecting materials, I'm putting together my materials, and that's really the best way to ensure that you have an easy packing process for your move and to minimize how overwhelmed you get as you're starting to collect things, put things in piles, etc. So one of the pre-packing activities is to get rid of things that you're not taking with you. So before you ever even start thinking about packing, start going through categories of items that you know need sifting through, things that maybe you didn't mind having around because you got it for free, but it's not really valuable to you. Start putting together your donation piles, start recycling and throwing out items you no longer need, because that means when you get to packing, you're just packing. You're not making a ton of really important decisions about your stuff. So again, I'm moving in 48 hours and I really haven't packed a thing yet, but I have done this pre-work. I have taken items out that I know I no longer want or need, and everything here in my apartment is something that I'm taking with me. And yeah, I can make little decisions here and there if something strikes me, but at least I know that all I have to do at this point is get the items in my home into boxes or bags. I have all my supplies, and so that's what's keeping me smiling and not too stressed out right now. This is a little hook. This hook used to hold a picture. And these are the types of things that we tend to forget when we're preparing for a move. So don't forget all the little hooks, everything that you have on the wall. It's easy not to see those items, and they do take time to take down. So I always keep my toolbox on the ready here. As you can see, I have it so that if I need to pull anything out using a hammer or screwdriver, anything I need, I have it. And in some cases, what you want to do is if you have a special picture frame hanger, you'll want to take that out of the wall and then using really thick painter's tape, tape it to the back of the picture. That way it stays where it belongs. I always think about packing for unpacking, not to organize my packing based on rooms, although you certainly can do that, and I do that as well, and not necessarily packing for categories. If you think about it, the back of a picture frame, that little hanger, you might think of that as like utilities and tools and end up putting it there. But when you unpack, you're going to be hanging that up on the wall, so you want that hanger with it. So I always think about what my home will look like when I move and pack for that purpose. That doesn't really take up much more time when you are packing, but it definitely helps you out when you're unpacking. These are the last final hours I have in my apartment, and I wanted to show you what I've sort of ended up with here after preparing for the move. I don't close and seal and do the final labeling on boxes until I am absolutely done, because there's always little things here and there that need to be moved around, added, taken out. But as you can see here, so these boxes aren't closed. Definitely seal existing boxes with a little extra tape. I use painter's tape here for those bins. And you're probably thinking, but Dara, I thought you were a minimalist. That looks like a lot of boxes. Well, first of all, it looks like it's more than it is because of the boxes all being opened and nothing being really stacked very much on top of each other. But also, kitchen stuff takes up a ton of space. I have my bin of linens here. I kept it out because this, along with the blanket over here, could potentially be used to wrap any of the furniture or anything else the movers might need it for. I just like to leave those out, and I'll take them in my car otherwise, because this is a local move, so I do have that advantage. What do you need to have on hand day of? Try to have a clipboard available, as you can see here, with notes and just a pen, just so that I have something on hand, easy to sketch something down. I don't have to grab my phone to do anything. So I also have a couple of like personal bags packed. that my computer will go into, my clipboard will go into, a few other sensitive, financial whatever information. Those are my personal bags that I have set aside that I'll be taking with me in the car, so that, those little things that kind of creep up that you don't think about, you have a place to throw them into and not worry the movers with that or get that confused with your other boxes. And one more thing, I highly suggest taking a little bit of time for reflection. I mean, you've been in your space, you're about to move, journal, take a walk, talk to a friend about it, whatever you need to do to feel like you've honored the experience that you've had in your former home. So that's just something else to weave into that very long to-do list I'm sure that you have as you continue to work through the moving process, but just keep it in mind. And good luck.
Keep these strategies in mind for a move now or sometime in the future. And remember that a move is always simpler when you're a minimalist. So be sure to download my free Ultimate Guide to Simplifying Your Home found in the resources section below.